So you said you just you had a trip out just
I
now.
did. I did. And so
How
let me
was it?
tell you, so I go out once a week. Okay. I have become, if this whole pandemic has taught me nothing else, I'm now paranoid agoraphobe. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't go outside.
Yep.
Go to work in the morning, you know, come home about 10 o'clock, don't leave until I go to work again the next morning. But once a week, I go out for supplies. And so, because Easter is this weekend, I haven't seen my grandson or my niece, my granddaughter. I haven't seen any of them. So I decided I made some baskets, some Easter
Mm-hmm.
baskets that I kind of, wiped down and made them all sanitary. And I donned my unicorn outfit and
Yeah.
to drop off some baskets. And in the meantime, I also had to go to the store to pick up some provisions and to Phillips drugstore to get my medicine.
Were
So
you in the unicorn costume the whole time?
I most certainly was.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I keep wondering where the rest of my inflatable peeps are at that want to like meet me in Elstro Plaza and
It under what circumstances did you originally obtain a inflatable unicorn outfit?
Okay. So my coworker Ray and I on the radio station, we were talking about it one day, and I said, I feel like I need a hazmat suit. Just kind of joking. When everything first came out, I was like, I feel like I need a hazmat suit. And he said, don't you think people would look at you weird? And I said, you know what? Maybe. And then I thought, everybody's running around these T-Rex outfits. Let me get one of those. And so I got on Amazon and I looked around and I thought, well, everybody is wearing a T-Rex outfit, so why don't I do something different? So
Yeah.
hence the unicorn,
So that makes you a social unicorn instead of a butterfly.
There you go.
A social distancing unicorn.
Social distancing unicorn, correct.
So how would you what grade, how would you rate your fellow shoppers just in this most recent trip?
And as far as seeing me in the outfit or
No, no, for social distancing and taking these precautionary
well,
measures seriously.
I'll be honest with you, I was a little disappointed. I didn't see more people in mask and with gloves on, especially in the
Yep.
store because, where people are constantly touching things, in the store.
Yep.
So touch something, you don't get it, you go to the next thing, somebody else comes along, they're touching it. So I was a little disappointed more people weren't covered, especially now with the, they're suggesting that you wear a mask every time you go in public now.
Yep.
I wear a mask when I walk my dogs, just in case. I am very conscious of staying 6 feet away, wearing gloves when I go out, having my mask on. I'm very conscious of that. And it's not so much that I don't want to get anything, but right now I'm treating this as what if I have it and I gave it to someone else,
That's the scary thing about this is that
Right.
the idea that you could be carrying something, never have any symptoms at all, and
That's
get
right.
an indeterminate number of people infected.
Right. Exactly. That scares me to death. And I have been now, let's see, honestly, Andy, I think I'm going on like day 32 in my house.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I take my dogs out, which is funny because my dogs look at me now. They go out so much now. They're just like, really, Mom? But, my thing is I have zero symptoms, haven't had a fever, no cough, no nothing. But all I keep hearing is that you could be asymptomatic. And or is that what I say? Is that what I wanted to say? Yeah. Anyway, you can't show you may not show any symptoms at all. And you could still be carrying it. And that scares me to death. Honestly. It
It,
scares me to death.
well, it's because um, there are so many unknowns about this
Yeah. Yeah.
that, and we're still so early into it. I mean, to hear Dr. Fauci a day or so ago say, maybe we never shake hands again.
Right.
sounds like, on one hand, a very simple thing,
Right.
but it's such an ingrained part of at least Western culture. I mean,
Yeah.
the Far East, maybe not so much. They've been social distancing their greetings with a bow for,
Sure.
centuries.
Forever.
But
Yeah.
so when you see, I mean, because you're not just a citizen, you're not just a regular human being. You are an elected government official.
Right.
So how does, from your position as a representative of a section of this city,
Hmm.
how, without pointing fingers or naming names, and I don't know, maybe that is
Sure.
what you want to do,
Hmm.
because what I'm seeing is across all segments of society, be it financial, ethnicity,
Sure.
religious. There are people just all across the board that are either, one, not taking it seriously enough, or two,
Hmm.
just completely saying the whole thing is a hoax and calling Dr. Fauci a quack. How do you
Yeah.
respond to stuff like that?
Well, first of all, I get super angry when people are like, "Well, he's a crack. This is a hoax." It makes me super angry because the thing is, within my family, okay, I have my niece is in, public health. She is down right there at the CDC. Okay, I have another member of my family who is military. I have another member. I mean, we are so ingrained, and I feel like I have my finger on the pulse. So when people say to me, "This is a hoax. This is stupid," it makes me really angry because these are the people that aren't taking it seriously. Yesterday, I was so angry. My husband, I don't listen to the news, and if you know me, I am a stout Democrat. I am not a fan of president.
So let's just talk about something lighthearted. Let's talk
Okay,
racial relations. Those are easy. I've often had a question,
yeah,
and you being of an African American descent, are both
I
of your
am
parents? I, there was a question mark there. How far back have you ever traced your lineage?
quite a quite a ways.
Okay, because I was never, when I see these commercials for like Ancestry.com and stuff, which we've
Yeah,
done, there's a part of me that's like, is that a white person thing? It's like,
to do.
because there's a part of me that's like, is that another layer or level of white privilege to go far, and it's like, because people that
Mm,
their origins are African in nature,
mhm.
a lot of people that are on this continent are going to have a slavery background. Is that fair to say?
Um, yes, and I think okay. So if I say what I think you're trying to bring up is, do I think that it's more of a, you think, are you saying, are more white people doing like the DNA stuff
I guess, yeah.
black people are? And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think what
Okay.
see um, you see a lot of Caucasian people that do it, but there are African Americans that do it. When I actually traced our ancestry for my family, because I know that there is Native American Indian strong on my mother's side, but there's also Dutch and Irish. Okay,
Okay.
there's on my father's side, there's Cuban, there's African American. So it's like, I think that a lot of what people have to understand is that, and this is what makes me so mad when I hear people talk about like the KKKs and the you know Nazi, whatever they are. Okay, talk about being pure. Okay, I'm going to be honest, Andy. I don't think there's anybody that is completely pure. I
No.
I do not. And there are people that would chastise me for that. But to be honest with you, when people talk about race relations, if they go back and you trace your lineage, I mean, there's a lot of people, the slave owners were with the slaves and they were
Oh
produced.
yeah.
And there's, I mean, I don't think anyone can really say there is no I am not a minority at all. There's nothing. I don't think anyone can really say that. So
That's
that's
interesting. There was a movie with Warren Beatty in the 90s where he played like a senator or a governor or something called
yeah,
Bulworth.
yeah,
Very young Halle Berry before she became a giant star. And I'm going to
yeah.
use one of those bad words here because he
Well,
kind of
don't do
had
it.
like oh, I can bleep him out. He his character was a conservative, and then something happened. He may have gotten mugged or something. I don't recall, but something. He had a life-changing moment where he realized his lifelong pursuit of conservatism was wrong, and he
Mhm.
completely flipped and became this wanted to be like a real man of the people type. And
Yeah.
the Conservative Party wanted, oh no, let's just shut him back in the back room because we don't want that. But the line he came up with was everybody needs to keep fucking everybody of every color until we're all the same color.
Hmm.
And there was
Hmm.
like there's some genius logic in there.
Well, and I think that when you look at, I mean, I am, if anyone were to ask, and people have asked me before, are you mixed? No, I'm not. That's what I say. No, my mother is African American. She identifies as African American. So my grandfather, da 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 da. Same thing on my father's side. So are you mixed? No, no. Technically, I guess you could say I was.
It just seems like the more, I mean, for medical and health purposes, there are certain ethnicities or sections of population from different parts of the world that are maybe more susceptible to different types of illnesses and disease.
Mm-hmm,
Those types of members, I understand that reasoning, the pursuit of that
mm-hmm.
information. But I just don't understand I mean, just the question of to even, I hope it wasn't just like an opening question. Hi, this is the first time I've ever met you. Is one of your parents white? Would be
Mm-hmm.
a weird opener, you know? But it's like nobody, the older I get, the fewer labels I wish we could just get rid of all the labels. I don't get it.
Well, sure. I mean, when you look at us, looking at us as people, just let's just be honest. If we just looked at people, if we just looked at each other as human beings, but um, you're there's so many labels that have been placed upon people, upon races, upon genders, upon it. I mean, you can't. I don't want to say you can't get away from it, but it is hard to get away from it. It's
It
hard to get away from those labels. And
well, it's because it's a visual thing a lot of times. I mean, whether it's
sure,
skin color, body type, height,
sure,
hair
sure,
color, those are visual things, and so
sure.
I don't know if we'll ever get out of
Well, and I think it's funny because, most people think I'm mean because
that.
um, I have what's called a severe case of RBF, which is resting bitch face. you know? So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, people are always, I always thought you were mean. I was like, yeah, I'm not. It's
Well,
like,
it's better than an active case.
there you go.
I don't know what that would look like, but
It's been active in the past, Andy. Let's be honest.
well, we've all got that line, you know. I mean,
Yeah, it's active when it has to be.
some people have a longer fuse, and those people
Yeah,
are, you know. And I mentioned Michelle Obama before. I'm at Barack Obama. I
yeah.
can't imagine what lines you have to cross to get that
Man,
man to raise his voice. I would love to
I,
see
I
it,
I
but
don't care what anybody says, but like he is one of the coolest dudes ever.
are,
Eh,
oh yeah,
He's
I mean
just
he's so
the
great.
swag. He's just that guy, He's just that guy.
What are you doing for fun right now? I mean, how are you? I mean, obviously, get running around dressed up as a unicorn is not a bad time.
I actually love that. So right now, that brings me joy. A lady said to me today, as a matter of fact, she said, "Honey, I just want to thank you." She said, "Because with the way everything is going," she said, "you have made my day." And I hadn't I was just standing there, and I was just like, "Well, that
Oh
is
yeah,
great. Thank you." So, as far as what I do for fun, so you know that I do Kelly and Ray Today on 1017. And Ray and I have started a, I call it D&D Light game that we're doing on Friday evenings, and we're doing it Facebook Live at 7 o'clock. And
Yeah.
so he and I are Dungeons and Dragons characters, and my husband is the dungeon master, and
Oh my God.
he's kind of leading us on this quest. So we do it from 7 to 7:30. That's a lot of fun. I mean, because it's just silly, and we're just having a good time with it. My coworker Ray, he knew nothing about Dungeons and Dragons at all, and and of course, my husband and I met, so we were at a Dungeons and Dragons game. Yeah,
That is so great. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And so we've been doing that. So that's been a lot of fun. Um, Honestly, I mean, just things have changed so much with being quarantined. I mean, before my husband and I mean, we have a great relationship, but before it was just like I was at work all day, he was at work all day. We'd come home, we'd spend an hour together. I was going to bed, he'd go to bed later, and we weren't spending like quality time together. And so that has changed a lot. I have gotten back into doing yoga. So, and my life was so busy beforehand that I didn't have time to do any of that. So my meditation and my yoga has taken a big part back in my life again. Um, you know, I'm pretty good at entertaining myself. So like, and I'm kind of a giant nerd. So I
Well, that whole topic of Dungeons and Dragons didn't hurt that point you wanted to make. But
oh man,
we've got a whole load
man.
of it downstairs. We had some friends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a year or so now since we've been into it, but that's a good time.
It is. It is.
That's fun.
And I play some online games too. I'm a gamer, so it's Ray was teasing me the other day. He said, do you know any other languages? And I said, well, I know, a little bit of Spanish, this, that, and the other. And he said, oh, I thought you were gonna, like say you knew Elvish or something. I said, well, I kind of do. He was, what? And I said, yeah. I said, I don't speak it. I said, but when Lord of the Rings came out, I was like, man, I want to speak Elvish. So, I mean, I'm just kind of, yeah, I'm a little quirky like that.
The first time that I saw Orlando Bloom in full makeup and costume as Legolas, I'm like, where is my Legend of Zelda movie? Because he looked just like Link. And I'm surprised they're working on a Super Mario Brothers movie, like a computer animation movie. Because the Mario Brothers from the '89 was a terrible movie. But,
I know, I remember.
It's bad. But the Zelda storyline is rife for many different films.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'm surprised they haven't done that.
Yeah, I agree. So, and plus we have gaming systems that I play on, because we got, the Xbox One and a PlayStation and blah, blah, blah. And I play a lot of video games, honestly. I do.
What's your all-time favorite video game?
Borderlands.
What is Borderlands? I've never played that. I've heard of it.
Borderlands is actually very cool because it's kind of I say it's a post-apocalyptic setting, but you're just kind of running through. You have to like collect treasures and kill these monster-looking dogs, and so it's a shooter game, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy it because it's got different facets to it that you can steal a car and just all kinds of like fun stuff that you can do. It used to be Sonic the Hedgehog, to be honest with you, when PlayStation first came out.
Oh yeah.
It was a fiend. Yeah. I played Sonic the Hedgehog all the time. Crash Bandicoot. Yeah. So
we grew up with
Guitar Hero.
See, that's one I was a little because I was a Nintendo guy, and that came out on like PlayStation or Xbox exclusive, one or the other, both, but not. It took a while for it to get to the Wii or whatever.
Yeah,
So, because there are certain games that are specific to this system, it's like PlayStation and Xbox people have never played Zelda because it's only there. It's like
That's right.
Nintendo will never play Halo, or Nintendo will never play the Gran Turismo racing games from PlayStation, which are bananas. I haven't played one in probably 20 years, but oh my God, those games are awesome.
Yeah.
But video, and see, this gets right back to the point I've made a couple of times now. For 5 years or whatever, since when all of a sudden you look up and everyone on the planet has a smartphone, even if it's a crappy one, it's still a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
What did we do before we had smartphones? Well, you're thinking you're lucky stars you got those phones today, aren't you? Because
That's
where
right.
would be? I mean, how would the only thing that's keeping? Well, that's an overstatement, but one of the things that's helping this. Why am I yelling? I'm so sorry. One of the things that's keeping this completely from falling into Mad Max right now, is something like this right here.
You're absolutely correct, because when I come home, before I was teaching classes at the Excel school. I was teaching life skills classes, and and I was seeing clients, and my life was on a level 100 all the time. And plus I started doing the radio show in the mornings. Right. And so now, since everything is basically shut down, I go to the radio station, I come home, I'm usually home by like 10:30, take the dogs out, play with the dogs, this, that, and the other. Now I can either sit in my chair all day and binge watch Netflix, which sometimes I just feel like doing. But most of the times, honestly, I game, because we have everything. We have a Wii, like I said, we got Wii, PlayStation, Xbox. Not gonna lie, I mean, I'm a master at Guitar Hero. I pretty much love it.
Are you like
I rock it pretty well.
You're like the Eddie Van Halen of Guitar Hero.
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far. I can't play on expert level, but I can play on hard. And I'm working on expert level. And we have the original Xbox 360, but we also have an Xbox One. So I have the original Guitar Hero that came out. And I remember the first time I went to someone's house and they had the next iteration of that, or the competing iteration, was Rock Band. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that liked to blow my mind. And so I was in the marching band in high school. And I played the trombone, and I was a really, really good marcher. I was an okay musician, but I took to the marching really, really well. And it's one of those, some people are inherently born like averse to just rhythm. Some people are, it's like Steve Martin in The Jerk. He can't find the beat, right? Yeah. So to strap on the drum set, the quads or whatever, and try to march in step and manipulate the drumsticks.
Yeah.
I tried it for like 3 seconds, handed it right back to the drummer, and they instantly had so much of my, I don't know what the appreciation is, not the big enough word for it, but the drum set in Rock Band, oh, good God. It was like, you might as well put it on preschool setting for me, and I still couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The challenge.
And I got to tell you, I picked up, and it was funny because my brother had actually bought it for my niece, and it was at his house, and he said, hey, you got to come down and check this out, blah, blah, blah. And she was young, so I went down there. I was like, well, this is pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. So I started trying it. Well, the better my brother and my niece got, I was like, yeah, they're not going to beat me. So then I went and got one for myself. And then it's pretty addictive, to be honest with you. So addictive. But
it's always a challenge to, it's like if you have a game that you play, and nowadays, of course, you can play a lot of games online with people from all over the world. But like, you have a game that you've played by yourself a lot, and you get really good at it, and you're like, hey, come on over. And then the skill level is so different. It's not fun for that other person to come over. So I guess that's one of the great things about playing online, except that every time I try to play online with somebody, I'm then the new guy into the room, and then I can't. It's like, if it's baseball, I'll never even make contact.
Well, and we play more of the because my husband's a gamer too, and we play more of the fantasy games. Not World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft type, just a little more advanced in the World of Warcraft, because he's playing something called Star Wars something something something. I'm not sure what that one is, but
Okay.
there's another one called Elder Wind. I mean, so
Mhm.
these are like, those are the type of games that we do online.
Okay. It's
I,
it's a good way to well, I mean, we're living in a world now where there are sports leagues, I mean, well, the high
yeah.
school even has a team, I think, right here at Richmond High
Oh
School.
yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
think I saw, I mean, I'm not a NASCAR guy, but I think, once all the sporting events started getting canceled, and which I still say the NBA canceling their games when they did, the NBA was what made this mainstream in this country. We would have
Yeah.
lost another week or so if it hadn't been for the NBA doing it when they did it.
You're
But
right.
NASCAR held like a race with their drivers online with video games,
Oh man, that would be awesome.
which apparently one of the guys couldn't figure out how the controls worked, lost it, threw a temper tantrum
See?
right online for everybody to see. And it's like, yeah, those are called video games, and sometimes they're
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. They're not easy to do. Not
Yeah.
easy to do. You're right.
Well, this is not the longest conversation I've had since we started doing this. I had one just yesterday that went like about an hour and 5 minutes, which then I just,
Okay.
but thank you for doing this with me, because what the goal here is we're trying to keep as many people connected to people that they've maybe seen or know or whatever, just because even though we can't go and meet and be around people, there are still people.
That's right. And the offer still stands. If you guys ever want me to come and do improv, I'm telling you, I would love to do it. I will jump right on that bad
we
boy.
are gonna make that happen, Kelly, because it's a good fun time, and
Yeah.
we are looking forward to the time when we get to have everybody back in the room and everybody and us struggling, but mostly succeeding and making people laugh. It's a good
But
time.
honestly, Andy, I think that the Diva Improv is a good thing. We haven't ever been able to go. We can never get tickets. And the time that we did get tickets, which is a good thing for you guys are always sold out. But the time that we did get tickets, I got sick and then I couldn't
That's right.
go. So yes, I still have yet to catch a show, but I always catch the pictures and I follow you guys, and it's a good time. So
we appreciate that. That's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
It was a scary thing to come up with the idea of, is there even an audience for that in Richmond to begin with, and so far there is.
Yeah.
So we are happy to do it. It's a fun time, and assuming that all human to human contact isn't, the solution, avoiding that at all costs isn't the solution to this problem.
Yeah.
But eventually we're going to figure something out, and eventually we're all going to be able to run up and hopefully give each other a hug.
Well, I hope so. I'm looking forward to that day. So it's scary, but I'm looking forward to that day. Well, thank you guys for all you guys do.
Well,
Seriously.
thank you. Hey, thank you for your service.
Hey, no problem at all.
Because you are a public servant and you are appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll say goodbye to you, Kelly.
Okay. All right.
All right. Have a good day.
See you later. Bye-bye.